Hello, this is DracoFlame67, and welcome back to the Tales of Symphonia Boss Tour Remastered. This time, we will be fighting Pronyma. You can see that Pronyma resists darkness and is weak to light. But a more important thing is that this battle is the one that you need to reach without using gels in battle to get the I Hate Gels title. And while I have been using gels in my normal mode fights since Botta, I will be playing the normal mode version of this fight as if I would be getting the I Hate Gels title. So I won't be using any gels in battle, and Genis will have to be in the party. That's something that, if you're going for I Hate Gels, you may end up missing the title because you just don't have Genis in the party. If a character gets a title in battle at a specific point in the game, such as I Hate Gels or Friendship First, you saw that in Iubaris, Eternal Apprentice in Kilia. The character who gets the title has to be in the party for that battle, and I will be taking that into account as I talk about the strategy for the normal mode fight. See you there. Alright, here I have the normal mode version, or I have the normal mode file, and it is on this file that I'll be playing as if it was an I Hate Gels challenge. So you see Genis is in the party, and during battle I will not be using any gels. Now, how do I plan on taking on Pronyma with this in mind? Well, Pronyma has several Pronyma has several spells of different elements: Aqua Laser, Ice Tornado, Dark Sphere, Bloody Lance. Having resistance to water and dark would be helpful, and that's more for the Mania Mode version of the fight. But she also has some fairly tough special moves at close range as well. Leonasium is Beast, and Agarazium is very difficult to dodge. It's a ring that comes up from underneath the character. It can't be blocked. It's very difficult to use Guardian on it. Generally, the only way to avoid it is to jump, and doing that while you're trying to get behind Pronyma to start a combo can be pretty challenging. And because of those really hard-hitting close-range moves, I think it's for the best to have one melee fighter and three characters to fight at a distance. And because of her weakness to light, Colette and Rain are absolutely essential. Colette for her angel spells, Rain for photon. Genis, because Genis doesn't have any light spells, at least at this moment. I'm only having, actually I will let him use Icicle too, and Aqua Edge. I was thinking that Pronyma might have resisted water or ice because she uses those spells, but she does not resist water or ice, so Aqua Edge and Icicle are fine. So I'm letting Genis use all his level 1 spells because, again, Colette and Rain, their spells are going to be doing a lot more damage. So I don't want Genis's spells to be interrupting Colette's and Rain's, which is why he's only on level 1s. And if he's only on level 1 spells, they're cheaper, which means he'll be able to use more of them without regaining any TP. And that's important because I hate gels. Now, other texts to put into consideration. Another thing Pronyma can do is use Acid Rain. Like Kelia, it will lower everyone's defense. Unlike Kelia, there are other things that I might want to save a unison attack for, say a Bloody Lance or a Dark Sphere. And those I would be saving the unison attack for. There are other ways of dealing with Acid Rain at this point. I have Holy Song as a shortcut. Holy Song is one way of doing it. That increases attack, defense, and intelligence of the entire party. That can offset Acid Rain. Rain also knows Field Barrier, which I will let her use in this fight. Yeah, I'll let her use Field Barrier. As far as you attacks, I need to change something. Instead of Tiger Blade on up, I'm going to put Tempest on up. And, yeah. Actually. Never mind. I will be putting Field Barrier on a shortcut, so, she doesn't need to use Field Barrier. So for you attacks, we're going to want, Photon Tempest, right? Rain's Photon and Lloyd's Tempest make Photon... Oh. Never... Okay. I'm just, completely blanking here. It's not... We don't want Tempest on up. We're gonna put up. What we want is... Not Sword Rain Alpha. We want Omega Tempest. Because, all versions of Tempest combine with Photon for Photon Tempest. So, what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be going either Sword Rain Tiger Rage or Sword Rain Omega Tempest. And then for you attack, we're going to be going sideways. Lloyd will be using Omega Tempest. Rain will be using Photon. Genis, it doesn't really matter what he does. I will be putting Air Thrust for the hit count. And Colette, I'm going to have her use Judgment. She learned this during the Tower of Salvation, and even a single beam of Judgment Light does more damage than Angel Feathers. Which is why Judgment is going to be her unison attack. Regarding X skills, I put Strong here because we want Lucky Unison and Critical up. I put the level 3 X gem we got from Kratos on Colette, and that I've made Lucky, which just increases her luck. So Lucky Unison should be more likely to occur. Genis and Rain have the same as in the Tower of Salvation. We can, should we talk about status here? We can, yeah, let's talk about, Zelos and, Persea for a bit. Because we did get Zelos and Persea, between the Tower of Salvation and this fight. And, I'm gonna talk about their titles for a moment. Zelos, when you get him, he has Magic Swordsman as his default title. And the title I have on him right now is Tetraslash. Again, that is the same title that Lloyd and Kratos get. He gets it the same way. Except it took me a few battles to figure out what the... because I tried doing sideways down neutral with him. It didn't really work. I had to change it up a little. I ended up going down neutral sideways. I think that ends up being a more likely case of Tetraslash. You can also get Casanova really easily. You just need to field Zelos with 3 female characters. And at the end of battle, Zelos will get the Casanova title. And then Loudmouth, you just have to have him say the same thing over and over and over again. Or you have to say something over and over again in one battle. I accomplished that by putting by putting Windblade on a shortcut and just having Lloyd order Zelos to use Windblade over and over again. Because something about Zelos is that his techs are very similar to Kratos's. In fact, if we look at Zelos' techs right now, you'll see Demon Fang, Sonic Thrust, Light Spear, Fireball, Windblade, Stone Blast, Lightning. Zelos had just learned Air Thrust before getting to this save point, and Zelos is going to have to use Lightning a bunch of times, Sonic Thrust a bunch of times, Demon Fang a bunch of times, in order to get those upgrades that Kratos already had. So, on a first-time playthrough, Zelos is not really going to be boss ready unless you really dedicate a lot of time into using those moves. And rather than do that, well, I'm still going to be doing that in between bosses, but I'm not going to be sitting down and grinding fights just to get all of Zelos' uses up all at once. Instead, I'm going to be doing it gradually. I got Windblade first because Healing Wind is arguably the most important of his upgrades at this point, but he hasn't even learned it yet. And then we'd be getting Thunderblade next, and after getting Lightning to 50 uses and learning Thunderblade, I would be then fielding Zelos in melee to get the Demon Fangs and the Sonic Thrusts up. And eventually he's going to be learning Eruption and Grave as well, and that's when Fireball and Stone Blast would have to be used. And then as for Persea, you can get the Lone Girl title really easily by, like with Zelos, just fielding her as the only female character in the party. So you can have a party of 3 males plus Persea. And we have 3 males at this point, Lloyd, Genis, Zelos. Just have Persea as the 4th character, and you get the Lone Girl title right there. It's not a very good title. It increases defense, intelligence, and evasion. HP and strength are missing. But it's still something, and it's something really easy to get. So, I would say as soon as you get Persea and Zelos in the party, get those easy-to-get titles, Casanova, Lone Girl. Actually, it takes a little while, but Rain can also get a similar title like that, Crimson Rose, which it's not a very good title for her. Archaeological Mania is still better, but you can get it very easily by just having a party of all 4 females. So Colette, Persea, Sheena, Rain. Right. Rain gets the title Crimson Rose just by doing that. And let's talk about their X skills for a little. Zelos' personal X skill is very, very important, so I would not recommend taking this level too off. And you're noticing that I'm making Zelos S-type. Mostly it's because of the personal X skill, but also because the main novelty of having Lloyd and either Zelos or Kratos the same type has kind of passed already, right? Sonic Thrust is at its most dramatically convenient against Kavar, and we've beaten Kavar already. And I personally I think that the S-type skills are better for Zelos and Kratos than the T skills are. So I have strong and personal. But if you wanted to spec into making Zelos more of a caster, and you didn't mind making him T-type, magical and personal, while you don't see it, gives us reprise, and that reduces the casting time of a spell if used multiple times in a row. I ended up using this in the minimum battles run for Zelos. Because I basically had to do that given the limited amount of time to use to get his uses up, so I had to focus on the spells instead of melee attacks. But yeah, that's personal is always an S-type skill, and Zelos' personal is so useful that it's worth it to go S just so you don't have to switch off of personal. As for Persea, I gave her another level 2 so that instead of being S-type because of her personal, because Persea's personal is also good, you're able to find food items in dungeons just as you're running through them. It saves on having to spend money for cooking. So I want Persea T-type because most of Persea's level 3s you can only get on T-type. So I want to start her off on T and then get the one S-type level 3 after she's learned her level 3s on the T-type. So I've given her Sharp-Eyed and Rear Guard, which combine to Aerial Guard. It's only, I mean, that's at its most useful when you're playing as her, but it's still helpful as an AI. And again, the T-type is, it's better to start Persea off on T because she'll get more level 3 skills on T, but there's still a level 3 skill on S that you'll want to get eventually, which I will be doing again later. That's all I wanted to say regarding Zelos and Persea. Equipment. Right. I could... You know what? I think I will. We do have one more water resist. I'm going to be putting the Aquamarine on Rain here instead of the Leather Cape. So now instead of Lloyd instead of just Lloyd resisting water, Rain will also resist water, and Pronyma can use Aqua Laser. It'll help. And I think that's about it. We covered Techs, we covered X skills, we covered our unison attack, covered strategy, we covered, is there any, no, there's no titles for anybody but Zelos and Persea, so we will be fighting with this party, Lloyd, Colette, Genis, and Rain. If you want I Hate Gels, Genis has to be in here. And I will be using, And just make sure, does Colette, Colette knows Angels. Okay. So that's the strategy for Pronyma on normal. See you in the battle.
Behind you! You impudent! Prepare to die! You will pay for making a fool of me!
Okay, Rain, first of all.
Take this! I've got it! Get him! Fool!
Sword reveal thy glory. Angel feathers. Found a weakness.
Sword ring!
Sword ring. To reveal thy glory.
Take the
angel feathers.
Fool! Take this!
Fool.
Here we go!
Judgment.
Photon! Omega Tempest!
Air thrust.
And, oh, lucky Unison kicked in.
Get ready! Now!
Photon Tempest! Demon Tiger Ray!
Get him! Lightning.
Fool!
I beg of thee to
Here we
reveal
go.
thy glory. Air thrust. Judgment!
Omega Tempest!
Photon!
You ready?
Now, Lord.
Photon Tempest! Demon Omega Tempest!
Get him! Fireball!
No way!
Ready? Nurse!
Sword Rain! Tiger Rain!
Thanks!
Force
Guardian!
Get him! Lightning! Angel feathers!
No way!
Huh.
Tiger Rain!
I'm sorry.
And that was
Oh, you
Pronyma
just-
with no
You
gels.
picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Plus 10 grade. Wow. I didn't actually expect to do that well, but that Lucky Unison really came in clutch. I don't think I'd be able to do that much damage without the Lucky Unison. Being able to actually preempt two of... yeah, it stopped an Acid Rain, and I think it stopped an Ice Tornado too. Yeah, so Lucky Unison, definitely a big help. Genis was in the party, and I didn't use any gels in that battle. So, if I hadn't used any gels up to this point, this would have been an I Hate Gels fight. I don't think I'll have this luxury on Mania. And you will see that fight shortly. Okay, and here I am with the Mania Mode file. Now, you'll see my team is a little bit different. Instead of having Lloyd and Genis, I've got Zelos and Sheena. Remember that Pronyma has a weakness to light? Well, Angel Feathers and Photon aren't the only ways of exploiting that weakness to light. Now, Colette, normally I would be having her as long-range magic for this battle, and I did on the normal mode fight. However, on my normal mode file, I didn't have enough money or materials to make both of the new weapons available for Colette in Meltokyo and Cyback. There was a Ray Thrust and also Mithril Ring. Mithril Ring is a bit stronger, and I only had enough money to afford one of them, so I went with Mithril Ring instead of Ray Thrust. However, Ray Thrust is better for the Pronyma battle, specifically because it has light element. And that means Colette doesn't have to be a spellcaster in order to deal super effective damage. So I have her on L-range skills instead of L-range magic. So I'm letting her use Ray Satellite, Parabol, Ring Whirlwind, in order to deal that extra damage, without interfering with Photon's casting time. Meanwhile, I have Sheena as long-range magic instead, because she has STL Light, and if she gets into Overlimit, we can summon Luna, who does a move similar to Judgment. Now, I will be playing as Zelos in this fight because of a certain X-skill setup. This is how I've differed Zelos and Kratos in my preparation playthrough. Kratos has his X-skills set for aerial spell. Zelos has them set for Super Blast. This lets him use 6 basic attacks, and then being able to use skills in any order. Which requires 3 level 3s, Eternal, Slasher, and Super Chain, but then his 4th is a level max, which he can have access to Personal in town, so I can exploit that. But then he can also use other things. For example, Strong, a level 1, which combines with Slasher to make Chivalry, which increases Zelos' stats proportional to how many female characters he's in the party with. I have Zelos and 3 female characters, so Zelos is going to get the most mileage out of Chivalry with a team like this. Meanwhile, Colette has Battle Cry to also make her stats better, and Sheena's got Blood Spirit in case she gets hit, and Rain has Quick Spell like usual. And let's talk about the Unison attack. I'm going with Down because again, Holy Lance and Grand Cross make Gospel, which is light. And then Zelos will be using Demon Spear, and Sheena's got Power Seal Absolute. Actually, hold on. No. I'm gonna go with Power Seal Absolute. Sheena does have Demon Seal, which is light element, but Demon Seal and Grand Cross both combine with Holy Lance, and I want Gospel instead of the combination of Demon Seal and Holy Lance, because that is partially non-elemental, and I want to go all light. As for why I decided to use Zelos as the point character, it's because, not just because of Chivalry, but because most sword weapons do added damage to humans, including the Aqua brand that Zelos has equipped right now, which is normally water element, but will still do extra damage to Pronyma because she's classified as a human, even though she's a half-elf. But Sheena, because Sheena has STL Light, ideally she casts that on Zelos, which will stack the super effective damage from the element and the weapon. And then another thing about equipment is that Zelos, Colette, Sheena, and Rain are all equipped with something that resists water, either Poison Charm or, in Sheena's case, Aquamarine, and the Drain Charm, which resists Dark. So, Aqua Laser, resisted. Dark Sphere, resisted. Bloody Lance, resisted. The only spell that this version of Pronyma can use that we don't resist is Ice Tornado, and I will probably be saving my Unison attack to stop that. And again, I have Field Barrier and Holy Song to offset Acid Rain. Now, I'm going to be spending a lot of time to talk about titles, because when I get to Tetheala, that's when I do a lot of title changes. Let's start with Lloyd. He's on Berserker now. At the start of the game, I had him on Combo Expert to increase his HP, TP, and Strength. Going from Combo Expert to Berserker, I lose out on the extra TP by level up, but he gains more health, more attack, and more accuracy. The reason for this is when you get to Tetheala, you get access to Pineapple Gels, which means that it's a lot easier to heal TP. So Lloyd doesn't need quite as much of it, which is why I trade the extra TP for more health, more attack. For similar but not quite the same reason, I switched Genis from Mana Master to Ultimate Kid. Mana Master and Ultimate Kid have the same TP growth, but I've traded some int by level up for everything else, right? Genis is going to need more health, more strength in the Colosseum, more defense in order to take the attacks that are going to get stronger. Genis's health is not very high. At this point in the game, the normal mode playthrough of Genis had more health because he had a few levels with Brotherly Love. Oh, I should have water when I'm doing this. That's the reason why I'm switching from Mana Master to Ultimate Kid, because Genis has a lot of intelligence, and he's still going to get quite a bit of intelligence by level up, but Genis needs that extra bulk. Rain's still Gladiator Queen. Sheena's still Rose of Battle. Colette, I've switched from Supergirl to Little Pickpocket. She spent all of Silverant with Supergirl, gaining more TP, getting a lot of extra TP from Spirit Up. So now Colette, I think, actually has second to Genis at this point. But she spent a lot of the game with the most amount of TP out of anybody. She doesn't need the TP quite as extreme anymore, so I've switched for a title that trades that TP and intelligence for more HP, more strength, more defense. And now I'm going to talk about Zelos and Pronyma. We got them when we got to Tetheala, but they've been gaining levels in the background since the very beginning of the game with the title I had them set to when I last used them in the end of the previous playthrough. For Zelos, I had him on the title Grand Champion, which gave him a bit of everything. Again, I need him to have mostly balanced stats, except I plan on having Zelos be kind of a physical build, right? If I'm maining him with a Super Blast X skill setup, I want his physical attack to be higher. So I've gone with Gilgamesh, which does for Zelos what Little Pickpocket does for Colette. Not as much TP or intelligence anymore, but he's going to get more HP, more strength, more defense to make him more physically inclined. Pronyma, I did something different. I had her on, Bursting Girl, which gives her a huge amount of HP and strength, right? It gives her a lot of HP and strength. I wanted to have as much of those two stats as possible when I get her. But once I do get her, I switch her off from Bursting Girl to Empty Soul, which is like the Colosseum titles with the other characters. It gives her some of everything, because you'll notice her TP is really low compared to everybody else's, including Lloyd, who, again, used because of Combo Expert and Spirit Up, has been getting more TP than is usual for a Lloyd. Pronyma doesn't have nearly as much TP, and while she doesn't have as much of a problem as Lloyd does with expensive skills, her TP is nonetheless still very low, and I need her to get more of that as we progress through the game, which is why I have her on Empty Soul, which will give her more TP than usual in her level ups. But again, her HP, her strength, her defense, they're still very important, and I don't want to sacrifice them entirely for... actually, I don't think she has a better title for TP. No, she does not. Empty Soul is the best title for TP for Pronyma. So even if she had one that had more TP, but say no health or strength, I wouldn't be picking them. So that's why I've gone from Bursting Girl to Empty Soul. So yeah, that explains the title changes. I've explained the X skills. I think I've explained the techs. I've explained the strategy. Explained the unison attack. I think I've covered everything. So I will see you with the battle on Mania.
You impudent! Prepare to die! will pay for making a fool of me.
Sheena magic.
Take this.
Here. Fool.
Demon Fang!
Silver Seal.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Silver Seal.
Demon Fang!
Nurse.
Parabol. Take this.
Fool.
Light Spear! Demon Fang!
I summon thee. Huh. Ready? Let's go, Corinne. Take Ring Whirlwind.
Light Spear! Demon Fang!
I summon thee. Ready?
Demon
Let's
Fang!
go, Corinne.
Demon Fang!
Parabol. Take this.
Demon Fang!
Parabol. I summon thee. Ready? Let's go, Corinne.
Okay, Sheena, how about you give Colette a lemon gel?
Thanks. Be careful.
Don't get in my way.
Ring Whirlwind. Silver Seal. First aid. Stay up. Take this.
Fool.
Ready? Parabol. Silver Seal.
Light Spear! Demon Fang!
Ring Whirlwind.
Whoa! Did not expect that. Okay, Rain, life bottle me.
Thanks.
Be careful.
Take this. Dark Spear.
Are you okay?
First aid.
Demon Fang!
Let's go, Corinne. Sorry. Parabol. I summon thee.
Demon Fang!
Ready? Nurse. Parabol.
All right.
Thanks.
Love ya. Demon Spear!
Holy Lance. Power Seal Absolute. Lloyd.
Demon Spear!
Try this. Silver Seal. Parabol. Try this. Take Silver Seal. First aid. Dark Spear.
Colette, give yourself something else.
Here. I summon. You're gonna be kidding me. Help is on the way. Nurse.
Light Spear!
Ready?
Demon Fang!
Silver Seal. Take this.
Fool!
Agarazium. Take this.
Okay,
Summon Nurse. Dark Spear.
Guardian!
Thanks.
Love ya.
Take this. Ring Whirlwind.
Fool!
Ready?
Demon Fang!
I summon. Help is on the way.
Demon Fang!
Ready?
Supersonic Thrust!
Paraballs.
Love ya.
Take this.
Fool! Light Spear!
Messed up. Sorry. Lord, you
I'm just too pretty. Seriously.
okay. Over 20 grade. There, I mean, there was a death there, and there's a couple items, but yeah. Okay, so the strategy worked out. Yeah. So that was Pronyma on Mania. Yeah. So that's it's an example of how my Zelos differs from my Kratos. And next time, I think there's going to be technically the next boss is not in the next dungeon, but the dungeon after that. But there is a required battle in the next dungeon that I want to take a look at. And there's another fake chest in that dungeon too. So there will be a mandatory Mook Mania before the next boss. where we will also be fighting the second fake chest. So until then, this has been Draco Flame 67 with the Tales of Symphonia Boss Tour Remastered. See ya!